Assalamualaikum everyone and welcome to Cars and Conversation. In our first garage tour, I'm joined by Mr. Zaeem Aziz as we talk about his versatile collection in Dhaka and also a bit of his collection in Australia. Enjoy.
Morning.
Assalamualaikum.
How are you?
Good morning. How are you, bro?
Good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I'm
Welcome.
well as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
And by honestly, I don't know from where to start, so it's up to you.
All right. So yeah, apologies for the light. Very noisy outside. So this one, we'll start clockwise.
Sure.
This is probably the car that gets driven the most.
Okay.
It's a sort of late 90s Land Rover Defender short wheelbase.
Okay.
This was a massive project. So got the car basically from ex-government auction.
Yeah.
So it was in absolute sort of disastrous state.
Condition.
Had a really hard life. Since then, again, sort of the usual process with most of the cars, full bare body restoration, updated all the, mechanicals, electricals, aesthetics, everything you can see. So I went with a sort of modern but original kind of look, sort of, again, sort of bring it up to the modern times, but don't change anything to, steer away from the originality of the car. And all the sort of, updates is from Urban, renowned sort of aftermarket brand in the UK.
Yeah.
So the wheels are Urban, like the grills and stuff, and some of the rear parts, they're all from Urban.
Fantastic.
In the UK.
The paint is great as well.
So this is the sort of should know the name of the green, but it's again sort of pearl green from Land Rover color scheme. Sort of very dark and moody. Sort of in the light it shines, and in the dark as it's now
Similar to the racing green, right?
Yeah,
Not
racing
exactly
is a
like
bit more brighter.
Just a bit darker.
This is a bit more darker. I'll have to look up what the name of the color is, but it's from the Land Rover Range Rover sort of color palette. And yeah, it's a short wheelbase is great, as you can see from
Engine
here.
is stock, or is it?
Huh?
Engine is stock. Engine
Stock. Yeah, it's I think it's the 300 TDI variant.
2.8 liter, I think.
Yeah, 2.4 maybe. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2.4 turbo diesel.
Turbo diesel. Okay.
Runs beautifully. Runs with local diesel, no problems. Short wheelbase is really handy for the size.
Yeah.
Parking and all that. And yeah, some updates like the panoramic glass on the side.
Sure. Looks nice.
Yeah, the wheels I think are my favorite part of the car. The wheels look fantastic.
And they're quite hard to find, hard to source as well.
Exactly, yeah. So I again went with a sort of theme. So these are all Urban, the rear wheel cover and stuff. There's a few Urban parts in the car.
Yes. Nice.
And yeah, so the interior again fully reupholstered. We went with like a green stitch to touch base with the outside. And yeah, everything's sort of pretty much my original again, except for the steering wheel. Which is again the OEM steering wheel is really difficult for the size that you need for Bangladesh.
Very nice one.
Okay,
as well.
on to the next one. So maybe we'll
Yes.
start with the interior on this one.
Sure.
So this is the interior is work in progress. It's not very. The seats are done, but the dash is still not done. So this is a 1980 W123 E-Class from back in the day. Again, very famous car in the automotive landscape.
Very famous.
Some countries still use it as a taxi. Up until today. So very reliable and famous car. This is a 280E. This is one of the rarer versions of the W123. This is the 280E. And yeah, I got this car from a really renowned collector from back in the day.
Okay.
Car used to be silver before, but I had this sort of color scheme again. Original, all the cars I have is original OEM color palette. So I didn't go with like mix and match in terms of the color. So this is signal red from Mercedes, flat red. But I had this sort of vision that I wanted to do a red and gold kind of color scheme.
Honestly.
Yeah, so I think that turned out well. It's a bit striking.
It turned out fantastic, and honestly, like it was done back in 2015, right?
Yeah.
15,
This
16.
This is probably the first car I did.
But even now, I think it looks fantastic. Though.
Yeah, so it's got really aggressive stance.
It does,
So the theme on this one is sort of very aggressive retro mod theme. So the engine is a Toyota 2JZ.
Okay.
Multiple reasons for that. I was having difficulty with the original setup. And also, when I lived here, I wanted to use this car daily as best as we can. So yeah, the Toyota setup works.
Right.
But recently, I found out that although it's kind of looked down upon in Bangladesh, actually in certain parts of Europe, Russia, Eastern Europe, even in America, Australia, it's actually a really popular conversion.
Very common swap.
So it's it's kind of looked down upon by the Mercedes club here, but actually globally, it's a very respectable transformation. It just brings up the car to a more daily usable standard.
Exactly.
But yeah, the theme is really aggressive. So you have 8.5 width wheels on the front, and you have 10-inch wheels on the back. So it's very, very aggressive. As you can see, the stance. It sort of sits perfectly, but it doesn't scrub anywhere. So we did the measurements to like the last centimeter. So even if you have 3 people at the back, it won't touch the fender anywhere, but it's sort of just flush. Lowered on Eibach springs, BBS wheels. So you're very aggressive, sort of German DTM kind of homage. Yeah. And recently I added the AMG kit.
AMG lip.
So it's got the front kit, the side kit, and also the rear.
Looks very nice.
So it's kind of a very aggressive kind of look. I just preferred something different on this car.
Understood.
So that's this one.
Very nice.
Moving on to the next one. So this car is the 1970 Volkswagen Beetle. I think Beetle again needs no introduction. But this is a car actually my brother got it originally.
Okay.
So this is his first car, and the first car that I got the chance to do something on. So this car was originally red at the time.
Okay.
I wanted, I guess, a bit of a Porsche homage and kind of a German. In the Volkswagen world, this is called the German look. So there's less chrome on the car. Again, it sits low. All the cars, there's a trend that all the cars are low. So it sits low. These cars are really difficult to lower because it actually doesn't have any coil springs. So you got to lower the whole beam at the front. So it's a very elaborate job. It's also a bit wider than the standard car. Porsche 996, 911 wheels that I got from overseas. The color is called Viper Green. Again, it's a color from the period when VW and Porsche were the same company.
Right.
So Porsches have this color and also VWs have this color. So it's kind of, I get told that it's kind of the CNG color for for Bangladesh, but it is what it is. I still like it. And yeah, so this car had I'd say like a full transformation, but not as I guess elaborate as the other two, because this car was already running when my brother got it. So it's aesthetic and just bringing up the mechanicals, but it again gets a lot of looks on the streets. It does. Because of the stance and the striking color. So 1970, air cooled, all mechanically all original. Visually, obviously, had some updates. Let's see the engine bay. It's probably very dusty, but yeah, the engine bay obviously original. Went with the quad exhaust. Again, sort of part of the German look, sort of retaining the German look. Yeah, this car has been in the, like I said, collection. This is a co-owned by me and my brother, but it's been here for the longest time. So this car probably coming up to maybe 16, 17 years now. Yeah. So it's been with us for a while.
Long time actually.
Yeah. And then finally the Austin Mini. So you might have seen in another video or this video on this car, but this is a 1962-63 Austin Mini. Started its life as a 850cc base spec Mini, which is now updated to the 1.3 Mini Cooper, as they call it. So the more powerful variant, 1.2 fuel injected. This car had like a massive transformation. We'll probably get into more detail in the other parts of the video.
videos, yeah.
But yeah, I think it came out really well. And you know, these two together are a rarity in any collection
It is.
globally. I think in Bangladesh there's probably a handful, I'd say maybe less than 5, you know, which will have this pair.
Right.
And you know, as I said before, between this, the Beetle and the Defender is probably, you know, your trio of influential cars in the landscape, in history. So yeah, quite a diverse collection, I would say.
Absolutely.
Lot of headache to keep all of them running.
Understandable.
And you know, as you know, in our country there's a lot of challenges of having multiple cars.
External factors
Yeah,
as well.
there's a lot of external factors which is difficult to navigate, but it's you know, it's a passion, so you gotta go through it.
Unrivaled quality. Journey with confidence. Mobil.
So the other car we haven't touched on is the 1988 Mark II Golf GTI. It's not here unfortunately today. I believe that's the only one in Bangladesh. Pretty sure. You can comment if I'm incorrect. But yeah, so that car I originally got from the German embassy. A German, I guess, expat got the car into the country. He used it while he worked here. I got it from the German embassy through the help of fellow enthusiasts. So I guess another thing I wanted to mention is this, I guess, vintage / classic community is very good in Bangladesh in terms of the people. You know, we always help each other out, and all these cars have been possible pretty much because of leads that were generated by fellow enthusiasts.
Right.
So you know, like big shout out to the community, and you know, we all have this sort of common interest, which I think is very good. You know, in any way. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Other factor I wanted to know is your collection in Australia? as
Yeah,
well?
sure. So as you mentioned, I live in Melbourne for the last 8-9 years, and yeah, over there I have a Jaguar XJ8, which is I guess that famous British royal family Jaguar that you saw in the
Right.
Crown Netflix series. So late 90s XJ8, and I also have a 2001 R34 Nissan GTR.
Nice, mashallah. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for dropping by.
No issues at all.
Pleasure meeting you today.
Same way as well. Thank you so much.